Hey guys, it's Frank from Cruising with Wheels. If you think a train ride is calm and soothing, well, think again, because there are drama queens everywhere. Find out how this train ride went a bit off the rails in this episode of my Tales from the High Seas. Well, let me tell you the story of our White Pass Rail train ride. We were on our Alaska cruise, and it was June 6th, I believe. Let's see. Yep, Wednesday, June 6th, we were in Skagway, Alaska, one of my favorite stops, old-time Skagway. And it was time to do the White Pass Rail train ride, which was my favorite excursion of the cruise. Now, Kevin and I got off the ship about 10:30. We had gotten up and we had breakfast, and then we just tooled around the ship, filming a little bit. But by 10:30, we were off, and we wheeled ourselves into Skagway. It was kind of a little long, push the wheelchair into town, but it was great little sightseeing. We got into Skagway and we decided to do a little bit of shopping. So we were in and out of stores, and we met a lot of people while we were picking out our Christmas ornaments. Lots of screaming and yelling, "Hey, there's Frank and Kevin from Cruising with Wheels." So we got to meet a lot of our YouTube fans, and we actually filmed some Cruising with Wheels video intros using our YouTube fans. That was the best part. So after all of that, we made our purchases, and we said, you know what, it's getting about that time, because they were going to start loading up, I think, the train at about 12:30 in the afternoon. So I said, it's a little bit ways back. Let's get wheeling ourselves back towards the ship at the dock where the train was going to meet. So we were on our way, and we saw the crowd starting to queue up where the sign says NCL White Pass Rail Train Ride. And we kind of got in the section with all the other wheelchair and scooter guests. So we queued up, and I was next to a young lady who we met. Her name was Tammy. Now, Tammy was on the cruise with her brother Terry and Terry's two teenage daughters. So we kind of got talking, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we watch you. It's nice to meet you." So we kind of waited, and they started loading up passengers, and they had a wheelchair lift on the train. So they started one by one taking up the wheelchair and scooter passengers onto the train, and to the right of the lift was the regular steps for everyone else to just walk up the steps onto the train. So they were well prepared, and it was very exciting.
Yeah, so we'll get you up here.
You're traveling with him, correct? Okay, perfect. So you're welcome to take the stairs right now, and then he'll take the lift up and we'll meet you right in there. That works. Or maybe she'll have you go with him. I might have spoken too soon. Don't listen to me.
And if there's somewhere on that right side, that other side, park that would be great. Alright, you're good to go. You're good to go slowly. Alright.
But remember
Hi, Tim.
Hi. And if they cancel the train, say hi to Tammy's brother.
Hi.
I'm Jerry.
like DeLuca, they told me that it's happening to
Alec,
everybody.
Tom,
No, but the principal said it too.
Now you notice that Tammy was on the right side, kind of in an open space. I was filming across from her in my open space where there was no seating. And Kevin was in front of me, and you saw that her brother Terry was in front of her on that first seat. Now the open area looked like it could accommodate 2 wheelchairs and scooters on each side if needed, but it was just us. She was on that side, I was on my side, and you know, our prospective family was sitting in front of us. But this isn't how it started, because after we all got on, we didn't have a problem on our side, because they, got me on the lift, wheeled me in my position on the left-hand side, and that seat in front of me was empty, and that's where Kevin sat. On the other side, they got Tammy on in her scooter, but there was an older couple sitting right there in that first bench seat. So when her brother Terry got on via the stairs with his 2 daughters, one of the crew members said to the couple sitting there, "Excuse me, could you do me a favor? Is it possible that you could just hop over 1 seat forward so that this young lady's brother can sit here with her?" Well, that husband went absolutely berserk. He went nuts. He started screaming, "What about my wife? What about my wife? She can't walk! She can't walk! What about her? What about her?" And we were all like, "Well, what about her?" I mean, we saw her on the docks, walking around, standing in line. Yes, she had a cane. She used a cane. Standing in line. We saw her walk up the steps into the train. In fact, from the video you just saw, that was her as they were loading the last man on the wheelchair lift. That was her standing there. You can see her in the video, standing her, talking to a gentleman. She has her cane, and then she walked to her seat and she sat down. Okay, she wasn't in a wheelchair. She wasn't in a scooter. She's not paralyzed. And this husband was acting like, they practically carried her on the train on a stretcher because she was paralyzed. I mean, come on. We're just asking her, could you please hop over 1 seat forward, because the brother needs to sit with his sister in case she needs something. Okay? What is your problem? And he made it was a big to-do. Made a big matzia over the whole thing. I mean, we were like, what is the problem? We're looking and watching, and we don't see that she's not capable of just hopping over. So eventually, the 2 of them got up without any problems or issues and moved to the next seat. And the only issue that happened that we saw was with him and his, going mental. Now, the whole train ride was from 12:30 to 4:30. Lasted 4 hours. Up the mountain and down the mountain. And of course, during that time, bathrooms had to be used. And there was a bathroom right there in our car. I think, every car had a bathroom. And it was behind me, in the corner. And people were going back and forth using it without a problem. I, of course, get nervous when it comes to excursions and traveling, having to use a bathroom and wondering if I can use the bathroom. But, the train car obviously was handicap accessible, so I assumed so was the bathroom. So at one point I said, "Kevin, I think it's time that I use the bathroom." So we waited for the last person to come out, and Kevin got up, and he had to kind of pull me out of my parked space, turn me around, and it was only about, I'm going to say about 12 feet behind me. And so he opened the door, and again, the bathroom was in a corner. And so you open the door, and I was like, oh, okay, I hope I can get in. Well, as it turned out, I could. All I had to do was take my legs off of my foot supports, and my foot supports on my wheelchair, if you unclip them, they fold sideways, and they're out of the way. And that's how I was able to get into the bathroom. And he just pushed me in and closed the door, and as usual, I'm like, now stay there by the door, until I'm, knock, knock, ready to come out, and then open the door and pull me out. So I went in without a problem, did my business, and got back out, and he parked me back in my parking space area behind his bench seat. Now that couple, the idiot husband, who made the big fuss when the train ride started, was going on and on and on and on during the whole train ride. He acting like he was an authority on everything, when in fact, listening, he was an authority on nothing. He's just one of those people that just isn't happy unless his mouth is going 20 miles an hour, telling everybody around him, what he knows. In fact, he knows nothing. Now, at one point, his wife said she had to use the bathroom. And I have to say, to his credit, that he was trying to be very helpful with her. And it was like, okay, well, let's get you up. But now she was the one that was her cue to be the drama queen. She started moaning and crying. I can't get up. I can't get up. No, stop. No, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I can't do it. I can't do it. And she was going on, and we're all like, bitch, what is your problem? What? We know you can move. We've seen you walking the dots, standing in line, up the stairs, moving your seat to the front. What's the issue? Now, all of a sudden, you can't get up and go to the bathroom because you're like all of a sudden paralyzed? What's the deal here? What, you got a captive audience on the train car and it's all about you? Get a grip, lady. So this went on for about 5 minutes of her moaning and crying that she couldn't even get up. And finally, he got her up, and the moaning and the crying went 12 feet past us to the bathroom. And then when she was done, 12 feet back to her seat. It was absolutely ridiculous. It's like, what a show she put on. Now, I don't want to judge anyone's medical issues, but it just seemed like a lot of needless drama that just didn't need to happen. And frankly, Kevin wasn't having any of it. But besides her drama scene and her husband's big mouth, it was a great train ride excursion up the White Pass Rail. Something I will never forget. I'm so glad we did it. I'm glad we spent the money. I thought it was a little expensive for both of us. But, how many times did you get to Alaska and do the White Pass Rail train ride up the mountain? You don't. Okay, most people don't get that chance. So, didn't care. We paid for it. We went. And, the memories.
Like we promised you, we're traveling on the White Pass Rail, going up to wherever we're going. We're going 20 miles from our cruise ship, and we will be in, let me see. No, I saw it on here. White Pass Summit. It's 2,885 feet above where
Now, by 4:30, we had finally made our way back down the mountain. And let me tell you, on the way down, the entire train car, I swear, was asleep. I mean, we were so tired. Everybody seemed to be dozing off. And by 4:30, we pulled in to the docks, and they started disembarking everybody. You know, one by one, the wheelchairs and the scooters were on the lift, you know, down to the dock, and off we rolled. And of course, that lady and her husband walked off the train down the steps without any problems. I didn't hear any screaming and crying and moaning. Didn't hear any of that. And, you know, everybody got disembarked. And we watched as everybody made their way walking down the long dock to get back on the NCL Bliss without any issues whatsoever.
Train ride is over.
Wait, I'm on her. Here?
God, she's gonna go. It's forever to walk down here. She's got a big ass. And to get that on. Ass is big enough, man.
So apparently, she's only paralyzed while she's on a train. I mean, I don't know. That seemed to be it. Maybe walking back, she didn't think she had a captive audience, her and her husband, to be moaning and crying and whining. I mean, it was just kind of ridiculous. I don't know if she was just trying to add extra entertainment for all of us on the train, but frankly, she was annoying, as was her big mouth husband. You find drama and trauma everywhere you go. There are drama queens everywhere, including this one. So on behalf of Kevin and myself from Cruising with Wheels, remember to go to our YouTube channel and hit that red subscribe button. Click on that little top bell and you'll get notifications every time we release a video every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, we're also Cruising with Wheels on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. So I want to remind everybody, don't forget to travel safe and cruise often.